Did you ever make a decision that you wished you could reverse, but you realized you were just going to have to ride it through to its logical conclusion, hoping things would come out for the best? Pilots have a lot of sayings like that. They also apply in business more often than you think. This is one of my favorites. Far better to be on the ground wishing you were in the air than in the air wishing you were on the ground. Now, as a pilot, I've been in this position. As a passenger, I've been in this position. Probably a lot of you are the same way. You can land. Ultimately, things are going to work out. There are, however, decisions we've made in our business that we can't necessarily put back, that we'd like to get a do-over on. Sometimes they're not so meaningful, like we bought a bad stock and we wish we could just put it back where it was. We all know how to get through that. But there's a decision in your future that once you make, you can't put back. So you'd much rather kind of be on the ground considering what to do next, as opposed to making that decision, which you really can't recover from once it's made, and approaching it in a way that recognizes that. What it involves is what you're going to do when you're no longer here. Who's getting your book? You've spent your entire life building this book. It's something you're proud of. It's something that you've grown relationships through with your colleagues, with your clients who've grown to be close friends, who trust you implicitly, and will, by the way, take your guidance when you say, this FA who's going to succeed me is qualified, they're the right person, they're going to take great care of you, this is who you want. You come to find out you've got clients that are beginning to leave. They're going elsewhere. How do you know it's beginning to happen? Maybe you hear it around, but maybe you find out you run into somebody at your club, on the street, at a restaurant, and they're looking at you a little bit awkwardly. And they come over because they want to know that you're going to be okay with the fact that they just took a $14 million relationship, which you oversaw for 25 years, and they moved it to another firm because they just didn't feel that the person you left your book to was up to the challenge. If there's one, there's going to be a lot more. And really quickly, you can find your entire legacy beginning to fragment and fall apart. And if you don't think that's going to have a long-term impact on you, well, you take the no skin off my back approach. You've got your payout locked in. You don't care. By the way, if that's how you feel about it, do me a favor. End this tape right now. Unsubscribe to all my emails because I don't want to know you. However, if you've got a practice that you're proud of and you build over time, this is how you're going to feel. The guilt is going to haunt you forever because you made that singular decision that you can't take back for the wrong reasons, which you thought were right at the time, but the person or people you designated were not up to the task. On the consulting I'm doing right now, this is the number one issue I'm working with. I'm locking down my personal consulting to only deal with really senior FAs because I understand the issues you're dealing with, not just from the perspective of what you built in your book, because I built a huge book too, but I designated the wrong successor. It haunts me to this day. So learn from my mistakes. Don't make them on your own. Let's think about it a little bit further. Think about it this way. What if you had the opportunity to try out potential successors before you made a final designation, with the added benefits of more time to devote to your favorite households, improve the service to the majority of those households because you know you've got more households that are lower tier productivity, but their money's just as important to them as the upper tier is. At the same time, make your last year the best year you've ever had, the greatest year of all time, and the relief of not having to really train your successor because you're going to find someone that kind of looks like an earlier version of you. All of the pieces for you to do this are in place as long as you're still on the ground because you've been building to this your entire career. Think back when you first started. Accounts that you considered in the past to be extraordinary, like the first time someone opened an account that had over $1 million, now may fall into your tier 3 accounts. The lowest productive accounts in this FA's book I'm working with have average assets under management of 1.2 million. From the top, this book looks awesome. It looks great until you start to pull it apart. Because this FA spends all of their time focused on these 103 households that are responsible for almost 90% of their total production, and also give them average productivity of 81,000 here and next year 25,000. The thing that most people don't think about is this. While you may not be paying a lot of attention to these folks, they're paying attention to you. There's 117 of them. They only see one version of you. Going outbound, your crew, your staff, whoever you have working with you, they're dealing with it. 90% of your time, needs to attach to the people that are paying for it. So what's happening down here? Answer is not much. Average ROA I'm seeing on these lower tier accounts is usually 1/3 to 1/2 of what we see in the average ROA. Imagine what would happen if you could pick out one or two first or second quintile FAs, let's say somewhere between LOS 5 and 7, maybe 5 and 8, and I'll get into that in a later video. Behind this one, I'll start to explain it a little bit more. And you can test them out a little bit. Give that person 5, give another person 5 relationship. Tell them you're in a horse race. The horse race is going to be who I'm going to designate as my likely successor. Let's see what you can do with this $5 million worth of assets across these 5 households. I'm going to put it on a 50-50 split for, let's call it, a period of a year. Come back to me in a month, 2 months, 3 months. Show me what you're doing. If you're adding assets, increasing my fee-based revenue, and running plans on these people, I'm going to give you 5 more. So at the end of that year, let's assume that you've got one FA that you've designated, and that person's knocked the cover off the ball. They've taken this average ROA up to a point, 63 basis point pickup. What's that going to equate to? Looks like to me another $600,000 or $700,000 in T12. Your deal has multiples in it. Even if you're splitting it 50-50 with another FA just situationally, you add $300,000 for most of these deals, that's another $700,000 plus ultimate payout to you in your pocket. But more importantly, you're servicing people down here that deserve your time, getting a long tryout. You don't give any more assets or any more accounts on a 50-50 to someone that's just sitting around waiting for something to happen. You guys are in a marvelous position to reach out, not just in your own office. Look at your complex. Look at your region. Look around geographically. You're sitting on winning lottery tickets for these people. There are far more FAs with phenomenal books right now that are retiring in the next 10 years than there are qualified FAs to actually take them out and continue it the same way you did. The ratio of really good FAs to just complete idiots is at an all-time high. Hire somebody that reminds you of yourself. Make them compete to win. Now, to help you a little bit, what I'll do is this. This is a customer relationship quotient spreadsheet I run for every consulting client. The front end of it just does the math. My full analysis does a quantitative and qualitative study to figure out who's who. It's a little more in detail. There's some video I'll put up shortly about that, but if you want to do this on your own, I'm fine with that. Email me at CRQ, Client Relationship Quotient template at betterpathtraining.com. I will send you the template with a little link to a video that's going to explain exactly how it works. You need like modest Excel skills to do it. I'll explain it. Find somebody in your crew that can do it. If not, you'll probably bumble your way through it because I'll put enough clues in there that you can work it out on your own. This is a simple analysis that allows you to stage your business to begin to understand who you might approach to see what they can do with some situationally shared accounts before you make a decision that you cannot revert. Shoot me the email, get the numbers in. Happy to talk to you afterwards, but for now, go slow. You're in the driver's seat. Thanks for your time.